For the Town Talker with Reverend Zechariah A. Jackson. Reverend Jackson is founding pastor of the Church of What's Happening Now, located in Plainfield, New Jersey. And now, the Town Talker, Reverend Zechariah Jackson.
Always good. Always good coming to you. This is the Reverend Zechariah A. Jackson from the Church of What's Happening Now, Town Talker Talk Show. I tell you, we have a lot to talk about today. You know, so many things going on in the bad weather and stuff. And you know, they say it's going to rain all the way up to Saturday. I have Chairman Hatcher, People Organization for Progress here in Plainfield. But before we go to the issues that we're going to talk about today, I want to go to a CNN clip, if we can, and just basically talk about a little boy that got lost in a balloon. So once this thing boot up and everything, I'm trying to boot it up now, and little 6-year-old boy is floating over the northeastern Colorado in a homemade balloon that he climbed into. You know what I mean? And authorities are wondering how they're going to capture him and everything and stuff. I mean, this balloon, you look at the computer, Steve, this balloon is flying like an airplane, you know, but he's in the balloon, you know what I mean? So they're trying their best to catch up with him. I got 1 minute 46 seconds on it. And, you know, so it's something, you know, to see this right here. And I just pray that, you know, that they capture the balloon. The bizarre scene played out in a live on television prompt fears that the flying saucer shaped balloon would crash. You know, and I think I got a call in coming in. Yeah, well, okay. Which with the young. What direction is this guy going? See, they're trying to figure out what direction the guy going. They don't know what's going on, but inside the balloon is a little boy.
6-year-old child.
6-year-old child.
Jesus,
you know what I mean?
Christ.
Inside.
You're at 68 or he is.
You know, and he's flying. I mean, this balloon is going. He climbed into the balloon, and you know, it just. I guess you know, kids. It just took off, and it's going all over northern Colorado. I mean, this thing is going. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like a little airplane, man. Look at it, it's going, and I'm sure the helicopters is behind it. I still wonder how are they going to bring this thing down? You know. What are they going to do to bring this thing in? I mean, look at this thing. It's just flying. It looked like a flying saucer.
It does.
But then it stopped and everything. So we just hope that everything turned out okay. Maybe it came to a safe landing or whatever. But the balloon was just floating over northern Colorado. Colorado Army National Guard was preparing to launch an 08 558 kilowatt helicopter to help in the response effort. You know what I mean? To bring the balloon down. So we have to, you know, I have to come back to you later on. I thought I was going to have a call in from Chicago. I don't know. I guess not. There's no call coming in from Chicago at all. Yeah. So that's where we at and everything. I got my co-anchor here today. You know.
All right.
And introduce yourself to the people.
Hello, good evening, good afternoon, rather. This is Melda Denise Clark. I hope everyone's doing well. We're waiting and expecting a call from Chicago so that we can continue our discussion on polygamy.
Wow. Yes, on the fact of polygamy and things, and you know.
I've heard your show.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe they got tired up there. You know. Yeah. Maybe they got tired because they normally on point on with this polygamy thing. You know. But you know what? I was just wondering today, and just to bring some light to relationship and marriage, and do the woman have that authentic role? I was brought a can of beans here today, and I also brought pot and pan.
All right.
And I brought some also. I brought carrots with me, and I brought also pancake mix.
Okay.
And I brought this here today just to illustrate. And years ago, women were so up on this right here in terms of cooking the pancake and everything. You see, and the carrots and stuff and everything else that would come with pot and pan. You understand me? Now today, today, and I'm not being a bigot to anybody, but is this taught anymore in the households of our young women, or even some of our mid-aged women that just don't know their way around the kitchen? And should it be expected, you understand, that they do know their way around the kitchen? Maybe you can help us, Elder Denise, with this here.
Well, from a woman's perspective, of course, I think that it's important that women as well as men today should know how to cook.
Right.
Times have changed today, where the woman is out of the household just as much as the man today working. So whoever gets home first can start up the food. But in terms of, how food is done, I'm sure that the man really counts on the woman knowing how. And today, I must say that the teachers, we don't have teachers set before us, and teaching starts in the home. And I think that today, many mothers are just too busy to really teach their young daughters. But we do have some pioneers that's still alive, and they're still teaching, and we thank God for them.
But if I can go back to some conversations in the early 70s, and I remember sometime my mother friends would come by or whatever, they would be talking, and that was a part of the conversation. You understand me? That Ruth, I'm going to put Tabasco sauce in this meal, or I'm going to put parsley, or whatever, and that was part of the conversation today. But today we find that that's not a part of the conversation anymore. Is they are lost in the fact that our women today don't seem to be culturally bred into the actual a pancake type syndrome, if you will, and I think that speaking as a man, that we miss that. You understand me? Men talk about this, that we miss that right there. And I was hoping Napoleon would call in from Chicago, because he could, as a man that's married to more than 3 women, I was wondering, did he get one meal? You understand?
Well, Reverend Napoleon seems to be a man who is basically, like, he probably goes for himself. I don't know if he depends on his wives to cook, but like I said, I think that every young girl and woman today should not forget culture.
But is it taught now? You in the church. I'm more in outside. I don't like to use the street ministry, but I'm in the field.
Right.
And being in the church and deeply rooted, and I know the many friends, women friends you have, and sure young daughters, you have daughters yourself, I believe.
Yes.
And is this part of the conversation that you guys talk about? Do you ever have a conversation about how to cook that roast beef or whatever, and how to make that cornbread?
Yes, we do. And the reason why is because we have cooks, we have business owners in our church. Bishop Jessica Walker, she's a woman who has her own catering business, and she bakes and she cooks. And of course, a lot of them don't want to tell their secrets, because everybody has a little special addition of what they put into their
I'm not talking
meals.
about the actual secret,
Right.
Denise. I'm talking about the fact of the matter that is this a part of the culture anymore, that so many women that men like myself have come in contact with, that do not seem to know their way around the kitchen.
I think that in church, yes, they do. Those women can cook. And
Well,
I
you're
wasn't
talking
born
women,
and bred
okay.
in church, so
Right.
therefore, me coming from the outside
Sure.
and things like that, the way that they cook, I learned because I sat in on the conversations. And once I tasted the food, I was like, this is great. And I would ask questions. And then they would begin to tell
But are the
you.
young women today
Are the young women
asking?
interested to
Yeah,
know?
yes. Are they asking
No.
these questions?
No, they're not.
Okay, that's the
They're
point
not
because if
asking
we're
the
going to pass the
questions.
torch,
Right.
That's
see, we're
right.
about passing the
Right.
torch.
That's right.
So if the young women are not asking the questions on cooking,
Right.
you understand me? Then who is to do the cooking in the house as the the caretaker? A woman mainly nest in a house. A man just like lived there. I do know that. You understand me? The woman know everything about the house. You understand me? You know what I mean? You ain't gonna be building no nuclear missile in the basement because when you leave, she done snoop down in the house. She snoop out.
Well, I don't think that a young woman, most of the times people, because of fast food restaurants
Right.
Yeah.
and
Right.
things like that, I think that
Right.
we're so quick to get a quick meal
You're so right.
or to eat at the job.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
That we don't have a tendency to cook at home. But when you get a mate, when you get a husband, then the young woman, she's going to recognize that her husband wants something from her hands.
But then Denise, are you saying what I often say to many women? Then is it the Shazam effect that a man should wait for? Because in other words, is the woman going to get married and she's used to Chairman Hatcher she's used to eating at the job and she's used to going out to dinner.
Right.
She's used to doing this and doing that
Quick.
and everything. But quick. But then now when she get married, now she's married. So all of a sudden she gonna come home and say Shazam
I know.
and become that great cook. Now, you understand me? I had when I went on my own, I was 24 years old. I had such hard time with women, and I'll tell you why.
Couldn't cook.
The reason why was I was unbelieving of their character and the things that they would do, especially in that kitchen. I thought that every woman knew how to cook. I was bred to believe that. And I was bred to believe that I was supposed to use the ham and bill. But then when I got out there and some of the meals that was cooked, you know what I mean? And some of the ways that they were cooked, it was either over buttered or it's too much salt and things. I can't have all those things. I can't have that stuff. You know what I mean? Sit down and have to drink 4 gallons of water to get out of it. And then what happened with me was then I'm a man that go on research. So after meeting so many young women at the time, I was young myself,
Right.
and then I started going into research. I said, well, now when you were 14 and your mama was in the kitchen, where were you at? She said, I was at the drill team. Okay.
Right.
Okay, when you were 15 and mama was making shortening, where were you at? She said that I was at the opera, or I was here and I was there. And so I said, it seems to me that her mama that could cook,
Right.
bred a young woman that could not cook. Didn't have to. And then as you sit down and you listen, you be a spy and everything, you listen and try to see what's going on and come to find out that was supposed to be the new air, that you didn't have to do what I did. In other words, I had to cook for your father, or, I had to cook, but you ain't got to do that because you got an education, or you got this, that, and the other. You understand me? And then it created someone that really did not know. And then that's when I took pressure off of people I dealt with, and I start cooking myself. But I still have a problem on cooking for a woman. I really have never done that. I would just go buy her a meal, and I'll cook my own food. I just never that form of servitude. I have not evolved into.
Well,
I have not ventured there yet.
it all depends on the relationship,
Yeah,
because I know that my mother, when she married her second time, her husband wanted to do all the cooking.
Right.
And he worked.
Sure.
And so she welcomed that.
Yeah.
That was a joy. So I think it all depends on the relationship.
Yeah.
But you talk about young women knowing how to cook. How about the men? Do they know how to fix things around the
But
house?
see, that's the thing.
So,
Right.
both the man has to pass things down as well
Right.
as the woman.
Sure.
And stuff.
I'm not
Because
picking
a lot
on a
of
woman.
men,
I'm not picking on a woman. But she is
let's switch the roles a
the
little
bread.
bit.
You know, the bottom line is that she is the one that the child is
Yes.
gonna glue to her. You
Yes.
understand me? You understand what I mean? You know
Yes,
what I mean?
but how about the man? Can he fix something around the house?
So these
You
are
know?
things that we have to
Yes.
reintroduce, I imagine, into
Yes, that's right.
the culture. Because some things, and
Some things have been lost.
yes, and I think that a lot of things have been lost. I say this to you, Denise. I say this to you, Chairman Hatcher. Is that a lot of things have been lost because of the evolution of us. You know what I mean? As we were, if you go back to the 60s, as we were going to these big colleges, as we were going to these different things, we were moving up, moving on up and on out. You understand me? Then come to find out, bless you, young man. Then come to find out is that we find that we have thrown down some things
Right, that's right.
that, you know what I mean, that we need.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Hold on to.
Like we need. I was at a store not too long ago, and I bought some fruits. They come up in carrots and stuff like that, and the guy come up to $17. $17 some cents. Wow, just fruit, carrots, and few other things, and everything. Not just this, but it was a little bit more. And he looked in my cart and said, "Is there anything else?" I said, "Well, now unless you're gonna charge me for the cart." You understand me? There ain't nothing else. I mean, like, there's a piece of plastic down there, or a leaf, maybe a leaf of, a leaf that might have dropped off from somebody putting
Charge you for that.
what collard greens in there, maybe a little half a leaf. I'm not gonna use that leaf. You understand me? So unless you're gonna do that, then I don't know where in the world that you're gonna charge me for. So it motivated me to this summer to build a garden. And this garden, I didn't get much out of this garden this year. You understand me?
Okay.
I spent more in it than I got out of it. It was just a
But next
learning.
year.
Next year.
Next year
Going to be, it's going to be the harvest coming in.
Oh,
You
yes.
understand what I'm trying to say? That's my point. In fact, I'm going to get it cultivated in a little while, and I'm going to cultivate this thing. You understand me? I'm cultivating that little area down there. You see what I mean? I'm going to change this thing around.